but that was coming off of, at least the reports, and Grass can speak to him better than I, lighting it up in practice, and then he goes into the preseason game and lit it up. He will be absolutely ready. I'm not speaking to his health, but his capability and his ability to play, again, so everyone understands, in the last 4 years or 5 years, the quarterback wide receiver combination that had the most yards per game was Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson. Sixth on that list is Sam Darnold and Justin Jefferson. The quarterback play in Minnesota will be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no doubt that Kevin O'Connell is going to put J.J. McCarthy in an awesome position to succeed. And obviously having some of the weapons like, Justin Jefferson as well, J.J. to J.J. I think, though, what we have to bake into this, and this is, going to be a little bit more difficult, when we look at, especially since it's the same draft class, when you look at the Commanders and Jane Daniels, and you look at Bo Nix and the Broncos, it's actually really interesting because both those quarterbacks went to teams that had great offensive-minded coaching, Cliff Kingsbury, Sean Payton, but the weapons themselves were limited and didn't have a lot of success. Even if some of the weapons that were great there, like Terry McLaurin, etc., there wasn't a lot of moments of flourishing because of whether it was Russell Wilson, Sam Howell, whoever the heck was the quarterback at the time. Like, the offenses were just a mess, and it just was obviously just not well run. Execution, etc., etc. What JJ has the benefit of walking into now is like, this is, essentially a Formula One car that is just already humming and rolling and moving, and now you're just inserting a new driver, and that's the benefit. That's the massive benefit that he has walking into this situation compared to, say, a Bo Nix or Jane Daniels. I still am confident that JJ is going to have some issues because this is going to be his first year starting. I don't think he's just going to enter the league and just, jump and have no problems. Like, there's going to be learning curves. There's going to be mistakes. There's going to be games when you're like, oh my God, JJ, what the heck was that throw? What were you thinking? Every single quarterback under the sun. Jaden Daniels had the best rookie season, like, of all time. And he had multiple moments, multiple games, multiple times when you were just like, oh, what the heck was that? And I've been praising, Jane Daniels a ton. And so I'm watching all his games, taking notes, and I'm like, oh, he's looking amazing. And then he does something where I'm just like, now I have to mention that in my video. I have to bring up that terrible throw that he made, and I'm like, come on, Jaden, come on, man. So JJ McCarthy's going to have that, right? That's just baked into it. But it's just gonna be interesting because when we talk about Kevin O'Connell, he dealt with 2 seasoned veteran quarterbacks. And Kirk Cousins especially, but even Sam Darnold. I know everyone is so low on Sam Darnold, and people want to say that Sam Darnold was made by Kevin O'Connell. That's just really not the whole truth. And again, I am a massive Kevin O'Connell fan, and I predicted that Kevin O'Connell and Sam Darnold would be great together and would be contenders. I said that preseason, before J.J. McCarthy even got injured, and they went on to win 14 games. So that just goes to show you, how confident I was in Kevin O'Connell and Sam Darnold. But Sam Darnold still contributed a lot to that success, just like Kirk Cousins did as well. Just from their experience, their veteranship, their ability to execute that offense, as well as, Sam Darnold now most recently, like, all the work that he put in to develop his game with Palmer, during the offseason, etc. Like, he evolved and grew as a player. Shanahan could not stop saying, enough positives about him, right? So it's just, let's not pretend that it was just all 100% Kevin O'Connell, or that they could have put any quarterback, because the Vikings also had a couple other backups with Kevin O'Connell, and they did not look like Sam Darnold or Kirk Cousins for that matter. They did not. We know that. We saw those quarterbacks. They did not. So JJ McCarthy still needs to be developed. He still needs to mature. He still needs to grow and evolve as a quarterback. And he does not have those years of experience. And he is young. He literally did just turn 22. So, even Jaden Daniels and Bo Nix, etc., like they had a lot of extra time. They are older. I think they were 24 already entering into the NFL. So, and that stuff does matter. That experience does matter. It really, really does. So it's not hard to imagine that you're going to see this offense potentially take a step back or still have some really awesome highs, but just have a little bit higher of a volume of lows, or just have it be a little bit more inconsistent. It's not to say that I think that the Vikings are going to take this massive step back or that JJ McCarthy is going to be overwhelmed and not know, what he's doing. But I do think that there's a lot. And now, unfortunately for JJ, and JJ is going to feel this because JJ is a baller. JJ wants to win. JJ believes in himself. He wants to compete, etc., etc. He saw what this team did. He saw this team win 14 games. He's going to put a lot of pressure on himself and a lot of belief in himself to get after it. And if this team is, 4-4 or, whatever it is, 6-6, 5-6, he's going to put a lot of pressure on himself to be what the heck, this team won 14 games last season. They actually made moves to be even better. I'm the big difference person. I'm the big key difference from this season to last season. It's a lot of pressure that people I think are underestimating what it is. And it's not to say that JJ can't handle it. I'm not saying that, but it's just an extra layer. I mean, it just is. Bo Nix did not have that. Jaden Daniels did not have that. Drake May did not have that. None of these quarterbacks had that. It was really just as long as those quarterbacks just look even remotely competent, it was a victory, a massive victory. So believe me, it's not so much I think that the Vikings are going to put that pressure on that, but they're going to feel it. They're going to feel it, and JJ is going to feel it, and the team itself is going to feel it because this is what the team was like before with Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold, that said a lot. That said a lot to me.
Unfortunately, they never won again after this happened.
Sure, still. So, I mean, you go up against two of the better teams in the league, right? In the Lions and the Rams you're talking about when they lose, right? But this right here, sometimes players tell you. Sometimes players tell you who they would rather have moving forward. This was cool.
So that is what that team was feeling. That is what they were feeling. So again, any step back, for especially some of these key pieces like Justin Jefferson, etc., it's going to be frustrating. This team, Justin Jefferson and company, really felt that they could go the distance. It was a strong belief, ready to win, ready to attack. And when you feel like you reach that point, anything less than that, it's exhausting. It's devastating. It's so frustrating. It's so irritating. So, that's another balancing, point. Whereas when you looked at, Jaden Daniels getting there and Terry McLaurin's there and they're like, oh my gosh, we finally got someone. There's so much more gratitude for some of these players, for the coaching staff as well, quite frankly. There's so much more gratitude of we finally got a guy who can get the job done. So there's just a lot of pressure, a lot of expectations on JJ, if not even externally, but most definitely internally. And I'm excited to see how it unfolds for the Vikings. I think to me, their measure of success is also going to be so largely dependent on the division, right? Again, the going up against the Lions, will they take a step back, losing both their coordinators? Going up against the Packers, are they going to be able to right their ship and take a step forward with Jordan Love and Matt LaFleur? The Bears, I imagine they're going to get better, but and they're making moves. They've already fixed that O-line within the last week alone. What is Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams going to look like? We know that division. I kept saying that the NFC North is a gauntlet, and for years to come, it's going to be brutal. So it's again that is what JJ is now walking into. He's now playing against established, obviously not necessarily Caleb, but established quarterbacks and other coaches. And so it just, what is that going to look like? So yeah, it's going to be a fascinating year. It's going to be an exciting year. I think there's a tremendous amount of optimism for the Vikings going into this season, but also understandably so, plenty of question marks. And obviously you still have the rest of free agency, the draft, etc., but still exciting nonetheless. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Minnesota Vikings moving forward? What type of success are you expecting the Vikings to have this coming season? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. It's whether you agree with me or disagree with me. Either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here and absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.